Derrida's political philosophy and ethical dimensions. While Jacques Derrida is most often associated with deconstruction, his later works reveal a profound engagement with political and ethical questions. These writings demonstrate how deconstruction can be applied beyond texts, addressing issues of justice, democracy, and responsibility. Derrida's political philosophy challenges us to rethink our commitments to others, to society, and to the future. One of Derrida's key contributions to political philosophy is his exploration of justice. For Derrida, justice is fundamentally distinct from law. Laws are constructed, codified, and enforced within specific historical and cultural contexts, and as such, they are always limited and fallible. Justice, however, transcends these limitations. It is infinite, undecidable, and impossible to fully realize. In his influential essay, Force of Law, The Mystical Foundation of Authority, Derrida argues that justice is an aspiration, something we must constantly strive toward but can never fully achieve. This view of justice leads Derrida to critique legal and political systems, not to reject them but to expose their limitations and encourage their transformation. He calls for a continual re-examination of laws to ensure they remain open to change and responsive to the needs of those they claim to serve. Justice, in Derrida's philosophy, is always to come, a future-oriented demand that resists closure or finality. Derrida's concept of hospitality is another cornerstone of his ethical thought. Hospitality, for Derrida, involves welcoming the other, the stranger, the foreigner, the one who is different. True hospitality is unconditional. It does not impose conditions, expectations, or limits on the guest. However, unconditional hospitality is impossible in practice, as it conflicts with the conditions imposed by laws, borders, and institutions. This tension between the ideal and the practical defines Derrida's approach, urging us to strive for greater openness while acknowledging the impossibility of fully achieving it. In Spectres of Marx, 1993, Derrida revisits the legacy of Marxism in the wake of global capitalism's dominance. He introduces the idea of hauntology, suggesting that the spirit of Marxism continues to haunt contemporary societies, demanding justice and equality. Derrida does not advocate for a return to traditional Marxist ideologies but calls for a re-engagement with its ethical imperatives in light of modern challenges such as economic exploitation, environmental crises, and social inequality. Derrida's concept of democracy to come is central to his political philosophy. In works like Rogues, 2 essays on reason, he argues that democracy is not a fixed system or achieved state but an ongoing process. The phrase, to come, signals both a promise and an impossibility, emphasizing that democracy must always remain open to change, critique, and improvement. This view challenges complacency, urging societies to strive for greater inclusivity and justice while recognizing the limitations of existing democratic structures. Ethical responsibility is another key theme in Derrida's later work. Drawing on the philosophy of Emmanuel Levinas, Derrida emphasizes the infinite responsibility we have toward the other. This responsibility goes beyond rules or norms, requiring us to respond to the singularity of each encounter. It is an ethical demand that cannot be fully discharged, creating a tension between our obligations and our capacity to meet them. Derrida also examines the paradoxes of forgiveness in works like On Forgiveness, 2001. He argues that true forgiveness must be unconditional, granted without expectation of apology, reconciliation, or reparation. However, this ideal of forgiveness is almost impossible to achieve, as it conflicts with practical considerations and human emotions. By engaging with this paradox, Derrida invites us to think deeply about the nature of forgiveness and its role in personal and political life. Through these and other writings, Derrida demonstrates how deconstruction is not merely a theoretical exercise but a profoundly ethical and political endeavor. His work challenges us to confront the tensions and contradictions in our commitments to justice, democracy, and responsibility. By embracing these complexities, Derrida's philosophy encourages us to remain open to new possibilities, striving for a better and more just world.